If you're running Facebook ads, but you're struggling to turn leads into cash, then watch this video all the way until the end, because I'm going to give you these 3 different ways that you can maximize profit for your landscaping or contracting business on the back end of your ads so that you can make more profitable campaigns. What's going on, you guys? This is Matt Thibeau here with Savant Marketing Agency. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can maximize the back end of your ad campaigns so that you can get the best possible results. This video is actually inspired by, I was talking to a contractor and he messaged me and he said, "Hey Matt, I've been following all your videos on YouTube. They're awesome. And now I got a bunch of leads coming through, but I'm struggling to actually turn those into cash. I'm struggling to actually take those leads and turn them into customers. What should I do?" So I thought I would make this video for you and really break down how you can start optimizing things on the back end to start getting better results. Because the truth is that you could be doing everything right on the front end of your Facebook ads, of the videos we talk about and all the things that you can do on the ad side of things. But if the back end of your video, of your ads isn't optimized, then you're gonna really struggle to get results. As well as even if you're running average ads and maybe they're decent and you have a bad back end, you can get much larger results with your campaign and a bigger profit and impact if you really dial in what I'm about to talk about here. So I want to show you guys kind of like what I call the contractor acquisition funnel. And basically it's broken down into 4 steps. My goal here in this video is to make this really, really simple for you to understand. You know, basically, if you think about it, really all that we're doing here, we're running ads and then trying to grow our business, is that it comes down to 4 simple things. We're doing lead generation, which is Facebook ads or whatever way that you're generating leads. Then you book an appointment. So we're doing appointment setting. You book an appointment with the lead, and then you deliver them an estimate, and then you close the deal, sales. And basically what we're going to be talking about here in this specific video are numbers 2, 3, and 4. Because I think a lot of contractors focus so much on number 1. They're like, "Hey, I need more leads. I need more leads. You know, it's not working for me. I need to get more leads." Realistically though, I find personally is that a lot of contractors are actually struggling with 2, 3, and 4. And for many campaigns, if they fix those 3 things there, their campaign would be a lot more profitable. And so I want you to really think about your campaign as a full funnel and not just Facebook ads, because there's a lot of gurus I've noticed on YouTube and they're talking all about how to get your Facebook ads just right and how to do this and that. And that's great. We talk about that on this channel. We talk about how you can really take your Facebook ads to the next level. And that's what we do as a company for landscapers and contractors. But it's really important to look at this as a holistic system. And so in today's video, like I said, we're going to be talking about everything that happens on the back end here. So let's dive right into it here. I'm just going to first, let's talk about these 3 things that I mentioned that you can do to really start optimizing the back end of your campaign, right? So like I said, there's 3 things. And these 3 things are basically what dictate powerful appointment setting so that you're able to actually meet with someone and give them a quote and actually close the deal, right? And so let's talk about these 3 things here. So number 1, first thing, is something that I call connection rate. Connection rate. So what is a connection rate? A connection rate is basically the percentage of people that you're actually speaking to from the leads that you generate. From my experience doing this with clients and doing it for ourselves, your connection rate should be around 90%. That means 90% of the leads that you generate on Facebook ads, you should be having some kind of conversation with. If that's not the case, and let's say that your connection rate is really low, it's like, 50% or something like that. That's what I would consider to be low. Then you can basically start looking at how you can fix that connection rate. So I'm going to give you some strategies here that you can implement that will boost up that connection rate. And we're going to go through each one here. So let's say that you are talking to a bunch of people right now. just keep watching because I'm going to give you other strategies and we're going to attack this problem at each level in the funnel, right? So stay with me here. By the way, guys, I'm actually giving away a full training. It's called Appointment Setting Mastery. It's a full document, and I even attached a little video to it. And it goes through these 3 things I'm about to share with you in a lot of detail, how to fix the bottlenecks, and it's all written out really nicely. So if you want, just text me to this number that I'm going to put below. This is my personal business number. So it's me on the other end. And basically just text Appointment Setting Mastery and I'll send you over that course absolutely free. And that will be a really good resource for you to have after watching this video so you can be very successful with it. All right, so let's keep going here. So connection rate. So basically there's a number of different ways that you can boost up connection rate, right? So number 1 is speed. So this is like the top one, is that if you're not speaking to a lot of your leads, you're calling them and they're not answering, you're struggling to have conversations with them, you're just not able to get them on the phone. Number 1 is speed. You want to call them as fast as possible. You know, ideally within the minute. The faster that you're calling these people, the better, right? Sometimes contractors will tell us like, Matt, I don't have time to call these people because I'm busy on the tools or something like that. You have a couple options. You can try using automation. So using a tool or CRM like we use High Level, where you can send an automatic text or an email. It's not as good as a call, but it's better than nothing, like calling back a day later or something, if like calling them on the spot is out of the cards for you. Second is just hiring an appointment setter. So if you're on the tools and you can't take those calls, then you need to hire someone to actually call fast for you and actually take those calls, because speed is going to be one of the number 1 things that you can do to really increase your connection rate. Very, very important. So let's say that you are calling them very quickly and you're still struggling. The next thing that you can do is send them a video message. So when your leads come in, let's say you call them really quickly and they don't pick up, you want to send them a video message. So this would be a text that you can send to them, which would be a little selfie video of you just with your phone. And you just say, hey, what's going on? This is Matt here. And I just saw you requested a quote to get your lawn done. Can you just tell me a little bit more about your project and what you're looking for? And I'd be happy to give you a quote. Nice talking with you. You know, hear back from you soon. And this works so well. The reason that this works really well is because it's harder to ignore you if you are sending a video of yourself. Let's put this into context here. These people who are requesting a quote from you on Facebook, they're actively looking to hire someone. That's why they've requested the quote. And so they may have asked for 3 different quotes from companies. And so maybe when they requested that quote, they got inundated with people like responding back and they were like, okay, they got overwhelmed basically. And so the video message is going to definitely boost response. It works really, really well. Highly recommend doing a video message to boost up your response on the connection rate. It's harder to ignore you and it builds a personal connection very quickly. So it is going to definitely boost up that connection rate, and that's a trick we learned. I have to give credit to Jeremy Haynes for that, and that was a very valuable tip. So do the video message. All right, next thing that you can do for actually boosting up the connection rate is calling at different times. So you want to call like maybe in the morning and then maybe at night. Calling at different times is going to be really helpful too, because you're going to catch someone at a different time. Like maybe if you call them in the morning, but maybe they always work in the mornings, right? So that's not going to be very helpful for them to actually get on the call. So if you call them at night, maybe you'll be able to get them. Another tip that I have for you too, which is kind of related to this, is doing something called double dialing. So let's say that you call a lead and then they don't pick up, hang up and just call again right away. The reason this works is because a lot of people have like spam filters and things like that on their phone. And oftentimes the second call is 50% more likely to actually reach that person. Also, just because they're seeing the urgency of the call happening twice, they're a lot more likely to pick up. So these are some really simple things that you can do to boost up that connection rate, because basically all that these do is like reduce the friction between them and you and the connection between that, right? So you want to be calling, you want to be texting, doing video messages, calling at different times, calling as fast as you can, and doing the double dialing method. And this is going to boost up your connection rate. Okay, so that is the first tip that I have for you of basically boosting up the back end there of like what you're getting out of the leads is the connection rate, right? All right, so let's talk about the second thing here that you can do to boost things. So number 2 is going to be your booking rate. Your booking rate. So let's say that you are having lots of discussions with people, so your connection rate is really good, but then you're just not booking people in for appointments. There's a couple things that are going wrong here. This was actually the case for the gentleman who reached out and I said that he was getting a lot of leads, but he wasn't closing any deals, is that he was talking to pretty much all of the leads, but he wasn't able to actually book many appointments. Okay, so what I'm willing to bet that's happening, if this is kind of where you're at, where you're not booking the appointments and you're talking to a lot of people and they just say, oh, I'll get back to you or whatever, is that you're probably talking about the price on this call. You're probably trying to sell people on this initial call. That is not what we want to do here. What we want to do is we want to quickly qualify the lead. We want to understand why they're getting this done. And we basically want to see, is this something that's worth for me to actually drive out and spend my time on, right? And so what you need to do here is you need to actually use a script, or you need to use some kind of framework, okay? So basically you want to conduct what's called a discovery call. This is like a 10 to 15 minute call where you basically are just asking a couple of pre-written questions that are designed to actually qualify the person and see, is this something that's actually worth our time? This is something you want to get down into a script because ultimately it will help you to offload this call to someone who's an appointment setter or someone on your team for like sales that can start just lining up appointments for you and you go out to them, right? So some quick things for you to think about for getting the booking rate up, booking more appointments, is that you need to learn how to actually deal with when someone says, like, what do you charge for something like this right off the bat, right? You don't want to just start throwing out numbers because what that's going to do is it's going to remove the curiosity and the reason to actually speak with you and meet with you, right? So what I would recommend is if the person asks for like a price range and that kind of stuff, what I would do is I would give them a general range. I would say, yeah, I'm happy to give you like a general idea. Typically, you're looking on the high end of this, and then on the low end, you're looking at that. However, let me schedule in a detailed free appointment, like an estimate. I'll meet with you. We'll go over everything together, and I'll get you an exact quote that day. How does that sound? So what you're doing is you can give them a little bit of a range, but you want to actually book that appointment, right? You want to have an appointment booked at a specific day and time and have them actually in on the calendar, because most contractors, if they're dropping the ball at the booking rate part of this process, it's because they're giving a range and then the person says, okay, and you think about it, and they say, okay, no worries, let me know when you want to talk again, and then the call ends. So think of it as if, like, if that phone hangs up and an appointment is not set, they're gone. They're absolutely gone. So during that 10 to 15 minute call, that discovery call, what you're looking to do is asking them just like, have you ever worked with a contractor before? Like, why are you wanting to get this done? You're trying to get an idea of their situation and their goals, and you don't necessarily have to financially qualify them. But you do want to look for evidence that they do have money and they're serious about this, right? So if they say, like, we've been thinking about this for a long time, and you ask, like, hey, do you have any idea of like what kind of range this would be in? Have you done any homework or no? Then maybe you want to educate them a little bit on the phone, but you do not want to overqualify them on this call. That is probably one of the biggest mistakes that contractors make, is they're overqualifying people. And if someone on this call doesn't say, yeah, I'm ready to buy for like 20 grand or whatever, then they just say, okay, they're not qualified. You don't want to overqualify. So that is something that, you know, I want to stress here. So that is the second tip that I have for you, is you want to get that booking rate up. Now, what percentage should your booking rate be? you should be booking in at least 50% of the leads. Okay, so 50% of the leads that come through should be receiving an estimate. They should be actually like booked in and receiving that estimate. Okay, that's the number that you want to go for. Any less, and you've got a booking rate problem, and you're probably not doing what I'm talking about here, using a script, discovery call, those kind of things. So that is the second thing for you to do. Now let's talk about the third thing. This one's a big one as well. So let's say now that you're talking to a lot of leads, you're booking a lot of them in, and you're giving them estimates, but for whatever reason, you're not getting sales from your Facebook ads. Then what you've got is the sales issue, closing issue, right? So that is the third tip there, is closing. So let's talk about it. So like I said, if you're talking to a lot of people and you're giving out estimates, but for whatever reason, you're not closing the deal, what I'm willing to bet is that you are not meeting with those people in person, right? So the biggest tip that I would have for you to boost up your close rate is to start doing in-person estimates, right? So a lot of guys, what happens with Facebook ads is they get a little bit overwhelmed and they start emailing over estimates, or they start giving an estimate over the phone of like a ballpark and just saying like, do you want to move forward? Like, they don't understand how to do this. And so you want to do an in-person estimate. And what a lot of people will say to me when I say do an in-person estimate is they'll say, well, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to drive out there and blah, blah, blah. Remember what we just talked about in the previous step is that you want to do a 10 to 15 minute discovery call, or at least text them back and forth and just get an idea if this person's qualified before you go out to that, right? So that's why doing the discovery call is so important in this process, is that you are not going to drive out to people who are unqualified. So every appointment that you drive out to, they're qualified and you know that they are a potential buyer. So it is worth for you to invest your time in that. I often say to people who are saying like, well, I don't want to do an in-person estimate. I don't have time for that. Okay, do you have time to do 30 calls and not make a single sale? Because that sounds like a waste of time. So I would much rather you drive out and be intentional and actually close the deal on that estimate instead of doing a bajillion calls, giving out all these ranges of prices and doing it not properly and then not getting any results, right? So do an in-person estimate, and the close rate that you should be getting on your closes from the Facebook ads should be at least 30% of the estimates that you put out. So not 30% of the leads that you're generating, but of the estimates you deliver, which should be at least 50% of the leads, 30% of those estimates should close. That's the minimum that we would look for. And like I said, first thing you can do if your closing is under 30% is start doing in-person estimates. Second thing you want to do is you want to do a same-day estimate. So let me explain that in a sec. So basically what the process looks like is you want to meet with them in person, and then what you want to do is you want to do all the measurements, everything you need for your estimate, and then you want to say, okay, give me 20 minutes. I'm going to go into my truck. We're going to do some measurements. I'm going to crunch some numbers, and then I'm going to come back to you. We're going to sit down at the kitchen table, and we're going to go through all the numbers together, and then you can decide to move forward from there. And basically what this is going to do is collapse the amount of time between delivering the estimate and actually getting a yes from them, because you want to make that process as quick as possible. Now, for some contractors, let's say that you're doing like backyard oases, $100,000 projects. You got pools and spas and like very complex estimating. So maybe you're not able to do it like that same day. Well, then you need to collapse the time and get that estimate faster. So maybe it's not same day, but maybe it's 2 days. And then you book like a follow-up in-person meeting, sitting down at the kitchen table and going through it. Worst case, you want to at least do a Zoom call and go through it all with them. And what this is going to do is it's going to boost up your close rate regardless of whether or not that you're like a great salesperson or not. So just doing it in person and just delivering the estimate faster, asking for the order and saying, do you want to do this? That is going to boost up your close rate. Next thing that you can do that I kind of like alluded to is you want to actually ask for the order, right? So a lot of guys will like show the estimate, and then they'll say, I need to think about it, and they'll be like, sure, no worries. Like, you want to ask for the order, and you do want to do some objection handling. Like, I'm not going to go into objection handling in this video because that's kind of outside the scope of this video, but I would definitely recommend asking for the order when you're face to face with them and saying, like, do you want to do this? Last tip I'm going to give that we see helps clients a lot is offering financing. So you want to get partnered up with a good financer and be able to basically offer that for your company, because that will increase your close rate for people who legitimately cannot afford the service, but they want to move forward. You want to have some financing in place, because that is definitely going to boost up your close rate. So guys, I hope you found this helpful. These are the 3 things that you can do on the back end of your Facebook ads to get more conversions, close more people, and basically get your ads to actually be profitable. Like I said, I'm giving away that training there, that all about appointment setting. So I'll drop my number below. Just text me appointment setting. You'll get that course for absolutely free, and it goes into a lot more detail of everything that we talked about here. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe. And if you have any questions or anything, just comment below and just let me know what you think. The algorithm apparently is like weird now. So if you want to just comment below, even if it's just like, hey, like this video was helpful, I would appreciate it so this video could reach more people. And lastly, as always, if you're watching this right now and you own a landscaping company and you're trying to get your business to the next level using Facebook ads and maybe you're struggling a little bit, link is in the description. You can book a free strategy call with myself. We'll go over your current situation, we'll go over your goals, and then I'll show you a roadmap to actually hit that, and we can talk about what it would look like for us to support you from there. All right, guys, hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you on my next video.